Good morning.
Hello.
I'm the part that's on the Capital Campaign Committee, and this is the part that comes with me. I'm happy to report. We want to share our thoughts this morning on how we are choosing to contribute to the church's capital campaign and why. So it has less to do with the construction and the building things that we've been talking about, and more about what this church family has given us. Over the last 20 years, I'm going to look at my notes so I don't forget some of the important phrases that I found myself feeling while I was writing it. Over the last 20 years, St. Tim's has become mine, and now later our church family, whom we love and count on in a variety of life struggles and transitions. Funny that the word transitions came up again today. I'd like to tell you about a couple of those transitions over the last years, during my 20 years here. My serious discernment and ultimate shift of my church practice away from a place where I was raised, but often uncomfortably laden with shame and guilt about not getting it right, to a place like St. Tim's that I call Catholic but not Roman, where I felt a more intimate connection with the grace of my Lord and my God, which I need lots of. Another transition involved the extended illness and loss of my spouse of 40 years, along with the closure of my identity as a career woman who occasionally felt like maybe she had a bit of influence. And then the unexpected and joyful union of two widows, this man and I, in a late life marriage, and now decisions to be made about where we wish to reside together for our 80th decade. So many transitions, many struggles. This church has been there for me. And throughout, St. Tim's has been a community of faith, connection, and caring, individually and collectively, for whatever was the struggle. Therefore, me in more ways than I have time to mention. St. Tim's, we are proud to say, can be and is for many a church family where all are welcome in an inclusive, safe environment. I can't remember the other words, but the words happen in practice as well as out on our front sign. It is as God, my God, intended, where we can learn and grow and care and connect with one another. This is our church and our faith home, where as we drive away most every Sunday, we find ourselves trying to decide whether we were more touched by our pastor's eloquent sermon, our music director's fabulous voices and musicians, or the children that appear about communion time and all their preciousness. Overall, we shed a few tears as we discuss which one touched us most. And at the same time, I am clear, having made the shift that I mentioned from an earlier church, that I am now involved in a sacred spiritual experience like what we are being offered today, one without reservations, because where I have not lived up to all standards or may have voted for the wrong candidate. I could go on, but not here and now, about how grateful and proud I am to be called a member of this faith community. I'd like to close with a small piece that sums up home that Richard Rourke sent me in his daily message this week. It has struck me as more than enough reason to step up and contribute to maintaining both the spirit of our church and the wood and concrete that holds this precious place together. Notes from Felicia Merle. Love is home. Home is both an external dwelling and an internal abode. Home is the place where we belong, our place of acceptance and welcome. There, in this shame and judgment-free embryonic cocoon of love, we practice unconditional acceptance. We learn to relate to ourselves and others in the world around us. At home is a safe place for the body to land, a safe place for the soul to fully disrobe. Home is the place where our failures don't kill, our sins can't crush, and even when we are at our worst, we are safe. Home is a place where we are free to take our deepest, fullest, least encumbered breath. And at home, there is no need to guess whether we're in or out, welcomed or not. Home always prepares a place with us in mind. Thanks for listening, and now my dear husband.
Can I talk now?
I wish you would.
Well, first of all, kudos to the vestry and the church leadership for including us in this discernment process. It's come to a point where it's up to us to decide what we're going to contribute, how we're going to affirm this discernment process. And the way we're asked to affirm it is through our financial contributions. Now, affirming doesn't mean we have to have six figures. We're blessed with a few people in that category, but most of us are not in that category, and we certainly aren't. We come from humble backgrounds in the Midwest. We came from farming communities in Iowa, and it helped build us to who we are. And we're comfortable financially, but we're not in the category of six figures. So what I think the point that we're trying to make here is that to affirm the vision, you could contribute $29, you could contribute $29,000. It all counts the same. We are stronger together than we are individually. So let's keep that in mind. I'm going to close with a little something that came to mind back in the late 60s when tobacco companies were still advertising cigarettes, and the women's liberation movement had just begun. There was a cigarette called Virginia Slims, and it was designed for women, particularly young women. Now, many of you may not remember that. We're of a certain age that, we recall things like that. But it went like this: "You've come a long way, baby." That's kind of how we see the church. I was on the vestry during the pandemic. It was tough. We didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know what we didn't know. But we got through it. And the church, the parish supported the church in spite of the fact that we couldn't go to church. We didn't even have a very good way to do it online. But we improved on that, and we got to where it is today. And we learned things from it. Like, for example, the HVAC system. It didn't do a good job during the pandemic. We're trying to fix that. That's one of the elements of this program. I hope you've all seen this. I hope that most or all of you were able to go to meetings because it was enlightening. We were able to ask questions. We know what the church leadership is thinking. We're on the same line with everybody. So we're hoping that everybody sees this the way we do. We're going to contribute to the capital campaign. We haven't decided exactly how much yet, but we feel that's the way we affirm our belief in the church capital expansion.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.